Okay. Mm. One, two, three. So, what are the main things? Okay, we go for reading first. Okay, 20 minimum 20 minutes. We will choose reading. Reading will help us improve our vocab sanction, like sentence rearrangement, sentence की जो it will help us to make the questions correct, which we word I don't know, the sentence rearrangement or sentence correction. कुछ ऐसे some words we have, like if in those questions we have to do to find out that which sentence did not carry any mistake, grammatical error. Okay, so reading will help you to understand the type of topics, these type of questions without any harsh study. You will simply read half half hour to 1 hour daily, and it will help you to improve your reading. The main sources that are important for readings are the Hindu, the Indian Express, and and business also. Business paper is also very important for that, if you want to go through that. So reading will cover 70% of your English portion minimum, and 20%, 25 you will cover through vocabs. Okay, this is the main core that I'm telling you, that I have gained from my past experience. So reading. Okay, now we have to start it. So I will tell you the which are the main questions. पर हताश क्यों क्षण भर में निराश क्यों लक्ष्य पर वार कर बार बार हजार कर सौ मुश्किल कतार पर परवाह नहीं पगार कर वीर हार पर हताश क्यों क्षण भर में निराश क्यों लक्ष्य पर वार कर बार बार हजार कर सौ मुश्किल कतार पर परवाह नहीं प्रहार कर परवाह नहीं प्रहार कर परवाह नहीं प्रहार कर.
Hence, the nationwide lockdown has been central to the government's strategy to combat the COVID-19 pandemic, with businesses closed, supply chain disrupted, timelines extended, and contracts terminated. This exercise has caused the organized sector unprecedented abhutpurva economic losses, unprecedented abhutpurva कैसे हो सकता है फिर? In the unorganized sector, there has been a complete breakdown with little or no legal because of those who are affected by the lockdown has helped contain community spread of the disease. A legal and legislative audit of this exercise has evaded scrutiny so far. The Health and Family Welfare Department of Tamil Nadu issued a government order to impose social distancing and isolation measures with directed suspect cases and foreign returnees to remain under strict home quarantine and people to stay at home and come out only for accessing basic and essential services and strictly follow social distancing norms. District authorities such as the Commissioner of Police Greater Chennai have consequently issued orders to impose Section 144 of the Criminal Procedure Code in public places. Cumulatively, these orders constitute the legislative umbrella governing the lockdown. However, serious question remains whether the act was originally intended to or is sufficiently capable of addressing the threat of a pandemic. Also, the use of archaic pandemic disease act reveals the lack of requisite diligence and responsiveness of government authorities in providing novel and innovative policy solution to address a 21st century problem. Another serious failing is that any violation of the order passed would be prosecutable under Section 188 of Indian Penal Code, a very ineffective and broad provision dealing with disobedience of an order issued by a public servant. Accordingly, a consolidated proactive policy approach is absent. In fact, there has been an ad hoc and reactive rulemaking as seen in the way have been created. The flip-flop of orders by state governments and the center leading interstate movement has left the fate of hundreds of thousands of migrant workers to be handled by district administration with inadequate resources. In contrast, the UK enacted the Coronavirus Act of 2020, which is comprehensive legislation dealing with all issues connected with COVID-19, including emergency registration of healthcare professionals, temporary closure of educational institutions. Similarly, Singapore has passed the Infectious Disease Regulations 2020, which provides for issuance of stay order which can send at-risk individuals to a government isolation facility. Both the UK and Singapore laws set out conditions and legally binding obligation as such. Under Singaporean law, the violators may be penalized up to 10,000 or contemplation or both. Okay, so which of the consolidated or which of the following statement will reflect that there is a lack of following between the unit state and government differential proper through my uncertainties haunt the world. My uncertainties haunt the world campaign to counter the novel coronavirus disease pandemic. But one thing is now sure: global economic activity will suffer greatly with large scale consequences for the income and welfare of all, but especially for the most vulnerable one. VULNERABL vulnerable इसका मतलब होता है कमजोर. Food imported dependent countries. In the absence of timely and effective policy responses, this will exacerbate. Exacerbate मतलब होता है खराब करना. It's important and already unwelcome the number of people who don't have enough to eat. In 2019 report monitoring the second of United Nations mandated sustainable development goals warned that economic slowdowns and downturns help explain rising undernourishment levels in 65 of the 77 countries that record such rises between 2011 and 2017. The report titled The State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World was produced by the Food and Agriculture Organization of the United Nations FAO in collaboration with other UN partners. The International Monetary Fund recently slashed its global gross domestic product forecast by a 6.3 percentage points, making FAO's analysis all the more relevant as a part of a worldwide toolkit to prevent the health crisis from triggering starvation. Sub-Saharan Africa, a region that is home to the world highest number rates and where the average age is around 20 years, must now face for its first recession in a quarter of a century, and rising data of food supplies since 1995 linked to FAO statistical development of the prevalence of undernourishment indicator and correlating them to past global economic trends in countries that are net food importers. We find that millions of people are likely to join the ranks of the hungry due to the COVID-19 triggered recession. That number will vary according to the severity of GDP growth contractions, ranging from 14.4 million to 88.3 million, depending on the scenario where the latter figure is a truly devastating contraction of 10 percent points in all 100 importing countries' GDP growth, with the new estimates emerging from a strict economic analysis based on food supply and availability and not from other security. FAO is emphasizing that all countries must also foster measures to protect people's ability to access food that is locally, regionally, and globally available. So, not only must efforts focus on keeping food supply chains alive, but on food accessibility for all as well. Governments are tackling this issue head on by targeting the required official stimulus package to the poorest and undernourished. India established full diplomatic ties with Israel in January 1992. While many factors brought these two democracies together, it is a fact that both have successfully tackled state-centric threats throughout their history. Israel has successfully dealt with the gauntlet thrown down by the in 1948, 1967, and 1973. India has prevailed over an acutely hostile and implacable Pakistan in every conflict since partition. Both Israel and India have been victims of asymmetric warfare such as terrorism, which they continue to tackle with resolve. Thank you to the dynamism infused in India's foreign policy by the Indian Prime Minister. India's interaction with the Gulf Cooperation Council states have witnessed an impressive upward trajectory in recent times, encompassing economic and security ties, high-level political OMG. The president of the Jerusalem Institute for Strategy and Security, Professor Efrain Anbar, recently published an opinion piece in the Israel newspaper Haaretz titled "Israel would welcome ties with Pakistan should India worry." He argues that Pakistan's national interest would better be served by having ties with Israel, particularly since Israel carries weight in Washington and would perhaps measures requiring US-Pakistan tensions. Concerns regarding Iran were also cited as point of convergence in between Israel and Pakistan appears to be far-fetched. The final argument is that Pakistan is considered the sword arm of the Sunni world. Islamabad has invested considerably in the security of the Arab monarchies, including Saudi Arabia and Jordan. Pakistan military units have been stationed in these countries to promote internal stability. Pakistani leaders such as Nawaz Sharif have sought and received refuge in the Arabian Peninsula. Pakistan has used the platform provided by the OIC to drum up support for its stand on Kashmir, just as the OIC has done for the Palestinian issue. If Pakistan were to establish diplomatic ties with Israel, it would dilute its Islamic traditions and lead to a weakened support base within the OIC on Kashmir, a point acknowledged by Pakistani commentator Aisha Siddiqui. Opinion article most importantly in a recent interaction with the media, Blacktree spokesperson Major General Asif Ghafoor refuted the possibility in response to a query about Pakistan recognition of Israel, stating that such stories were part of a propaganda war aimed at turning the general public against the country's military. India successfully walked the tightrope between Israel and Palestine, and Israel may well hope to do so between Pakistan and India. However, it is not in Israel's interest to seek diplomatic ties with a state that sponsors terrorism. While it is the sovereign right of nations state to decide such matters, it appears that the idea of diplomatic ties between Israel and Pakistan remains for now a pie in the sky. The following statement now can be inferred from the given passage. Iran is not a present threat by Israel and the shares only divided in Pakistan. Panjab present certain but other several implicated whether all the evil state of terrorism. Now Pakistan has replied the OIC for itself and their objective. Okay, next. These are mains. Okay, so mains. हार पर हताश क्यों क्षणभंग में निराश क्यों लक्ष्य पर वार कर बार बार हजार कर सो मुश्किल कतार पर परवाह नहीं प्रवार का प्रहार कर वाह 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 Rhymes. When complex systems come to catastrophes, they re-emerge in distinctly new forms. The COVID-19 global pandemic is just a for economics cannot predict in what form the economy will emerge from it. Machines do not have the capacity for emergence. Once built, their capability inevitably reduce with increasing entropy. On the other hand, living system evolves and acquire new capabilities over time only. Human consciously develop new concepts, new scientific ideas, and new language in their search for new visions. Institutions of governance are human inventions for directing human individuals and for providing stability. The scientific establishment determines which ideas are worthy of admission. The king advisor do not want outsiders to dilute their influence in the poll. The establishment resists changes, therefore fundamental reforms of idea institution in human societies are always difficult until a crisis. The paradigm shift necessary after the crisis will not be easy. There will be resistance to shifts in social, economic, and political power toward those who have less from those who have more within the present paradigm. The financial crisis of 2008 was a crisis in the system. Recovery was achieved by putting more fuel in the system. The system then moved on in basically the same shape it was before. COVID-19 has revealed a structural weakness in the global economy. Putting fuel in the tank will not be. The vehicle must be redesigned to while global attention understandably is focused on relief and recovery. This is the time to design for resilience and alliance. Oh my god. The economic system cannot be redesigned by domain experts. Almost time left. 2% battery. Okay. 2% battery is left, so I'm closing this. And I have to charge my mobile first.